Devotees, it's time for Leowolf TV Story Time.
A Day with Wilbur Robinson by William Joyce. Narrated by Cody Slusher. I was gonna spend the day at Wilbur Robinson's house. Wilbur is my best friend. His house is the greatest place to visit. I walked up and said hello to the twin uncles, Dimitri and Spike. As always, Wilbur opened the door just before I knocked. "Come in," he said. "Lefty will take your bag." "It's kind of a dull day around here today," said Wilbur. I looked around. Aunt Billy was playing with her train set, Uncle Pete was walking the cats, and Uncle Gaston sat comfortably in the family cannon. "Your dad needs you in the backyard," he shouted as he blasted himself across the room. In the backyard, we found Mr. and Mrs. Robinson and their robot Carl. They were scouring around the yard with a matter detector. "We're looking for grandfather's false teeth," Mr. Robinson explained. "Of course, we haven't seen grandfather lately either. Could you boys go inside and ask around?" Back inside, we found Uncle Ludlow relaxing with his brain augmenter. "It helps him think deep thoughts," Wilbur whispered. Mississippi spelled with O's instead of I's will be Mossosopo, blurted Uncle Ludlow. "See? What did I tell ya?" Wilbur exclaimed. "Have you seen Grandfather Robinson's false teeth?" I asked. Uncle Ludlow blinked. "They're wherever he left them," he answered, after some thought. In the den, Wilbert's sister, Tallulah, was speaking on the phone and eating grapes. His other sister, Blanche, was modeling her new prom dress. "Do the shoes match?" she asked. "They're swell," we chimed. "Have you seen Grandfather Robinson's false teeth?" I asked. "Or grandfather?" asked Wilbur. "Not lately," said Blanche. Yawning, Tallulah shook her head and ate another grape. "You're still striking out," said Wilbur, discouraged. "And I'm hungry, so let's eat." Cousin Laszlo came by to demonstrate his new anti-gravity device. "Have you seen Grandfather Robinson's false teeth?" I asked. "No, but I bet they're floating around here someplace," mused Cousin Laszlo. Suddenly, the faint familiar strains of Potato Head Blues came wafting from the house. "That's it!" yelled Wilbur. "It's Friday! Grandfather's in his lab working on his dancing frog band." We rushed in the lab. Sure enough, there was Grandfather with his friends Mr. Elliton and Mr. Armstrong. Grandmother Robinson was helping. "Have you found your teeth, Grandfather?" shouted Wilbur over the music. "Nah, haven't seen them," he smiled. "I guess we'll just keep looking," I volunteered. "Sure do appreciate it," said Grandfather as the music played on. "We found Grandfather," Wilbur announced as he ran outside. "Good work," said Mr. Robinson. "Now, if we could only find those teeth." "Last time I was here, we were looking for your grandfather's glass eye," I reminded Wilbur as we walked. "Yeah, he was always missing a part," Wilbur admitted. "Ahoy!" called Uncle Art, newly arriving from aboard. "Looking for a lost bit of Grandfather? Gazooks, I've been homesick." By evening, Grandfather's teeth were still nowhere to be found. At dinner, Uncle Gaston practiced shooting food out of a cannon. Carl and Lefty served while Grandfather did the best he could without his teeth. After dinner, Mrs. Robinson read Tarzan of the Apes aloud. Suddenly, one of the frogs jumped onto my head and did a Tarzan yodel. He was wearing Grandfather Robinson's teeth. "I found them! I found them!" I cried. Everybody shouted, "Hooray!" except for Wilbur, who did a Tarzan yodel too, and called for a pillow fight. Exhausted from the battle, we floated across the lawn and into a tree with the help of Cousin Laszlo's anti-gravity device. Wilbur and I stayed up while Uncle Art told hair-raising stories about his adventures in outer space, as the frogs played softly on their violins. The next morning, the whole family was out front waving goodbye and singing Yes, We Have No Bananas, just like they always do. I was kinda sad to leave, but I was ready to go home for a while. Goodbye, Wilbur, I said. Sorry it was such a dull day, Wilbur apologized. Hey, I had fun, I said. Wilbur smiled. The sun was shining bright as I slowly walked away. I looked back over my shoulder, and there was Wilbur, shooting himself out of Uncle Gaston's cannon with a farewell message. See you later, pal. The end.
There's a fruit man on our street whose name is Mr. Pete. And he keeps good things to eat, but you should hear him speak. When you ask him anything, he never answers no.